looking back at Girls, and even like looking ahead to some of your future projects, it was just announced that you wrapped your first feature that you were a writer and director on in over a decade, and it's called Sharp Stick. It was just announced.
It was exciting.
But the thing that I loved about this, correct me if I'm wrong, all department heads were female.
It was incredible. Like, I have to say, women get it done. This is no disrespect to the men I've worked with, who I have adored in many incarnations. But I was like, I have never been on a more efficient tech scout in my life.
I could not agree more. And again, disclaimer, no disrespect to anyone else that we're doing.
Men's rights activists, you don't need to come after us on Twitter, but.
You are also executive producing a new show for HBO Max called Generation. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So that's an amazing show. It was created by Zelda Barnes, who's 18. I love the show because it really reflects just how like beautifully open and wise Generation Z is. I mean, it's wild how old it makes me feel producing a show with these wise, genius young people. I want them to like me so much that I start talking like a weird robot that got fed Gen Z language is now spitting it out. It's so upsetting. And they must just look at me and be like, who is this old loser? I lose it.
Have you picked up on any like Gen Z trends or how they speak?
Well, you know this thing that you're not supposed to have a side part, right? You can only have a middle part.
This is the bane of my existence also.
I didn't know until like a month ago, and I feel so behind that you can only have a middle part. And if you have a side part, you're like 100 or something. So now I've been trying to train this middle part.
You're so correct. I feel like this is kind of discrimination because I'm like, it's not my choice. My hair only knows how to part in the side.
Is there a surgery we can get? A middle partectomy? I'll get it.
Good. Case closed. Lena, something I overheard, I was eavesdropping on your conversation with one of my producers, and something I've learned about you is that you openly admit that you don't run your social media. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I write the stuff that's on it. I don't have someone else invent it. Those are my tweets. Those are my Instagrams. I just will give it to a beautiful woman named Dolly, and she puts it on the internet because I don't need to expose myself to all that. But I just realized like 3 years ago that it just was really not serving my overall mission to like move through the world feeling light and free. And I was in a lucky position where I could have someone who is a professional help me with that. It's her literal job. And my mental health got like really significantly better because I now live in a magical world where the internet is only nice.
Well, I love that so much. And you know why I love this and why I want to talk about this? Is because I feel like we've created this narrative where it's not cool to admit that the internet hurts your feelings. It's cool to be like, oh, I have thick skin and like haters gonna hate. But no, I've started to say very openly, no, it hurts my feelings.
I think as women, we often don't want to admit things hurt our feelings. So we're supposed to move through the world as these like tough guys who can take it all and show that we can let everything bounce off of us. But not only does it hurt my feelings, I've also realized it doesn't have to hurt my feelings because I don't have to be in interaction with it. And I'd rather get my feelings hurt by people that I know.
Right.
And
because there's plenty of those people too.
They do a great job of hurting my feelings all the time. So why don't I just stick in interaction with them?
The perfect cap on that discussion. Lena, thank you so much for coming to play.
It was an honor.
I cannot wait till you can be here in person and we can stare at each other's faces. For everyone watching at home, the first few episodes of Generation are streaming right now on HBO Max, so make sure you check that out. Lena, you're a gem. Hey, thanks so much for watching this clip. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more just like it. If you don't, none of us can leave set. Thanks!